Here's my personal Amityville horror story. The house welcomed us the moment we stepped inside. That should have been our first warning. How the arched doorways seemed to sigh as we passed through them. How the original 1920s tiles felt warm beneath our shoes despite the winter chill. The agent had called it a historic charm. I should have known better. In Los Angeles, nothing this beautiful comes without a price. Jake squeezed my hand as we signed the lease. "Can you believe our luck?" he whispered. The rent was absurdly low. $400 for a Spanish Revival jewel in Silver Lake. The previous tenants had left in a hurry, according to the landlord, and left everything behind. We found the first letter that evening, slipped between the pages of a cookbook in the kitchen. "Welcome home," it read in perfect, looping cursive. "Mind the piano after midnight. She doesn't like to be disturbed." We laughed it off. There was no piano until there was. 3 nights later, I woke to the sound of someone playing Debussy's Clair de Lune downstairs. The notes floated up through the floorboards, rich and resonant. Jake was already sitting upright, his face pale in the moonlight. "The living room's empty," he said. We crept downstairs together, our bare feet sticking to the hardwood. The living room was empty, except for the faint smell of gardenias and the unmistakable impression of fingers in the dust on the floor where a piano's legs should have been. Things got worse after that. The bathroom mirror would sometimes show our reflections a few seconds delayed, our smiles lingering after we'd stopped smiling. The linen closet door, which we always kept closed, would be found slightly ajar, the scent of gardenias pouring out like breath. Once, I reached inside and felt something brush back, something cold and papery like old skin. Jake started sleepwalking. I'd find him standing in the hallway at 3 a.m., facing the blank wall at the end, whispering numbers in Spanish. When I pulled him back to bed, his pajamas would be damp, his feet coated in fine grey dust that smelled like dried flowers. Then came the photographs. We'd taken them down when we moved in, dozens of black and white portraits of severe-looking strangers that had been left hanging in every room, but they kept reappearing, always in different frames, always watching us. The worst was the wedding photo above the fireplace. A stiff-looking couple from the 1920s, the woman's eyes dark and endless. No matter where I moved in the room, those eyes followed me. One night I woke to find Jake gone. The house was silent, too silent. Even the usual creaks and sighs of the old building had stopped, as if the house itself was holding its breath. I found him in the hallway, but it wasn't the hallway I knew. The walls stretched too far, and the ceiling slanted at impossible angles. At the end stood a door I'd never seen before, painted a deep arterial red. Jake was kneeling in front of it, his hands pressed against the wood. "It's singing," he whispered. And it was a faint, feminine humming seeping through the cracks. The smell of gardenias was overwhelming now, sweet and rotten. When I grabbed Jake's shoulder to pull him back, the door swung open on its own. Inside was a bedroom frozen in time, a woman's vanity covered in perfume bottles, a neatly made bed with lace trim, and a music box playing Clair de Lune on endless repeat. And on the wall, dozens of photographs, and can you believe it? Our photographs. Pictures of us sleeping, of us cooking, of us standing in rooms we'd never entered. The last one showed Jake and me, taken from behind as we stood in this very doorway, written beneath it in that familiar cursive, "You took the blue room. We gave you the red. Now it's time to meet the children." We ran that night, leaving everything behind. The new tenants called me last week. They wanted to know about the lovely old couple who sometimes waved to them from the upstairs window. and about the piano music that plays itself at night. I didn't tell them about the red room. Some invitations you have to accept on your own behalf. So face the music all alone. This is a story when a life ends forever. I'm Amos Reed, 60 years old. After my wife, Clara, died, I needed a cheap place to live. I found an old house on Eldridge Drive in Houston. It was May 2025. People called it the Wicker House. They said a family disappeared there long ago. I didn't believe in ghosts. I just wanted a place to stay. The house smelled bad, like mold and something sharp, like metal. The realtor gave me the keys and left fast. She said it was old pipes. I didn't care. The first night was quiet. I sat in my chair with coffee. Clara's old radio played gospel music. Around midnight, the air felt heavy. The radio hissed. A woman's voice said, "Get out!" I froze. I hit the radio. It stopped. I thought it was broken and went to bed. Obviously, I didn't sleep too well that night. The next night, I heard footsteps upstairs. I live alone. My knee hurt, but I climbed the stairs with my flashlight. The bedrooms were empty, just dust. In one room, I saw an old kid's shoe. It creeped me out. I locked the door and went downstairs. That night, I dreamed of Clara. Her face was wrong. No eyes, mouth too big. She whispered, "They're still here." I woke up sweating. The radio was loud with static, even though I didn't turn it on. By the third night, I felt watched. It was a nerve-wracking feeling inside. Shadows moved in the corners of my eyes. I checked the locks twice. I told myself it was just old age, but the lights flickered. The room got cold. My breath showed in the air. The radio made noises, voices. A man laughed, a kid cried, a woman screamed. I pulled the plug, but the voices stayed in my head. They said, "You don't belong." I grabbed my flashlight and went to the dining room. I saw a woman. She was grey in a torn dress. Her hair covered her face. I felt her stare. I blinked, and she was gone. The air smelled like blood. I checked every room. The shoe was in the hallway now. I know I locked it away. I called my daughter, Ellen, in Austin. "This house is wrong," I said. My voice shook. She said it was just sadness. She told me to leave. But I'm stubborn. I paid for 3 months, so I stayed. On the 5th night, the house felt alive. Heavy steps walked upstairs. I held my flashlight tight and went up. The locked door was open. The air smelled like blood. The shoe was gone. Scratches marked the floor, fresh and deep. Something cold touched my neck. I turned, but nothing was there. A voice whispered, "Wicker." I ran downstairs. I locked myself in the bathroom until morning. The next day, I looked up the Wickers online. A 1953 news story said John, Mary, and their girl, Lila, died here. Their bodies were torn up. No one found the killer. People heard screams and saw lights. A silver locket was missing. That afternoon, I found it under a kitchen floorboard. It had LW on it. Inside was a picture of a girl with creepy eyes. The air got cold. The locket closed on my finger. Blood came out. The blood smell was strong. I dropped the locket. It slid to the stairs. The footsteps started again. That night, I didn't sleep. I held a knife in my chair. The radio hissed, though it was unplugged. The lights flickered. The house creaked. Shadows moved. A man, a woman with long hair. A kid dragging something. My heart hurt. I forgot my pills. Voices chanted, "Wicker," with my heartbeat. At 3 a.m., the front door opened. I didn't touch it. Steps came closer. I stood, holding my knife. The shadows got near. The woman came first. Her face had no eyes, just black holes. The man had bloody hands. Lila held the shoe, her head tilted wrong. They didn't talk. I felt their anger. My chest hurt badly. Pain shot down my arm. I called for Clara. She wasn't there. Lila's cold hand reached for me. That's the last thing I saw. The stairs twisted wrong. Halfway up, a cold gust hit us, stinking of blood. At the top, a hall stretched with doors. One creaked open. Inside was an old bedroom, dusty curtains, a kid's rocking horse, a mirror. Lena gasped. In the mirror, a woman in a black veil stood behind her, face pale, eyes black holes. I turned. No one was there. "Did you see her?" Lena whimpered. The door slammed shut. The air crushed my chest. Whispers hissed, "Leave." Mine. The rocking horse rocked, creaking loudly. Jake yanked the door. It wouldn't move. My flashlight showed fresh scratches on the walls, deep like claws. The blood smell choked me. Then it got worse. The mirror rippled. The veiled woman stepped out, her veil lifting to show a rotting face, mouth open in a silent scream. Her bony hand reached for Lena, who screamed and fell. The room shook, walls groaning, shadows surged, a tall man in a top hat, hands dripping blood, and a girl, head twisted, eyes white, clutching a doll. They floated closer, their whispers now screaming, "Winchester, you're ours!" The girl's doll moved, its head turning to stare at me. Blood oozed from its eyes. Mia sobbed, clawing at the door. Jake kicked it and it burst open. We ran, the floor buckling under us. Footsteps thundered behind, mixed with laughter, deep, childlike, unhinged. Doors slammed as we stumbled through the maze of halls. The air burned cold, the blood smell gagging us. In a kitchen, cabinets rattled, dishes crashed. A silver locket sat on the counter, marked SW. It flew at me, hitting my chest. I screamed, shoving it away. The air froze, my breath fogged. Jake pulled me to a side door. We spilled into the garden, gasping. "Catch me if you can. I won't tell this again to anyone in my life." I'm Sarah, 32. Last weekend, my friends and I chose the Winchester Mystery House in San Jose for my birthday picnic. It's May 2025. The old mansion, with its twisted stairs and endless rooms, seemed like a fun spot. People say it's haunted, built to trap spirits. We didn't believe in ghosts. We just wanted food and laughs. Now I'm terrified of what we found. There were 6 of us. Me, my boyfriend Jake, my best friend Mia, her husband Tom, and our friends Lena and Carlos. We booked a private evening tour on May 24th, 2025, with a picnic on the south lawn. It was warm and the sky was clear. The house looked spooky, its windows like dark eyes. We laid out a blanket with sandwiches, chips and beers. A small speaker played music. The guide, Paul, told us to stay outside. "The house doesn't like strays," he said, half joking. We laughed it off. As the sun set, the garden got quiet. Mia shivered. "It's cold," she said. It was 75 degrees, but my skin prickled. The speaker crackled, spitting static. A voice growled, "Stay out!" We froze. Carlos, the skeptic, said it was bad wiring. His voice shook, though. We ate fast, and the vibe was ruined. The house's shadow seemed to creep closer. Tom wanted to explore inside. Paul said it was locked, but the front door was open. "Just a peek," Tom said. My gut screamed no, but we grabbed flashlights and went in. Inside, it smelled like dust and old pennies. Our steps echoed. The house felt alive, walls creaking. We passed weird rooms, doors to walls, windows to nowhere. Mia clutched my arm. "This place is wrong," she whispered. I felt eyes on my neck. In a parlor, we found a table set with dusty plates and dead roses. "For a tour thing, right?" Lena asked, nervous. The air turned cold. My flashlight flickered. Jake's died. Footsteps thumped upstairs. We were alone. Or should have been. Carlos called, "Who's there?" The steps stopped. A kid's giggle stabbed the silence. Too close. We spun, flashlights shaking. Nothing. My heart pounded. "Let's go," I said. But Tom wanted to check upstairs. Jake agreed. Mia and Lena looked scared, but we all went. The stairs twisted wrong. Halfway up, a cold gust hit us, stinking of blood. At the top, a hall stretched with doors. One creaked open. Inside was an old bedroom, dusty curtains, a kid's rocking horse, a mirror. Lena gasped. In the mirror, a woman in a black veil stood behind her, face pale, eyes black holes. I turned. No one was there. "Did you see her?" Lena whimpered. The door slammed shut. The air crushed my chest. Whispers hissed, "Leave." Mine. The rocking horse rocked, creaking loudly. Jake yanked the door. It wouldn't move. My flashlight showed fresh scratches on the walls, deep like claws. The blood smell choked me. Then it got worse. The mirror rippled. The veiled woman stepped out, her veil lifting to show a rotting face, mouth open in a silent scream. Her bony hand reached for Lena, who screamed and fell. The room shook, walls groaning, shadows surged, a tall man in a top hat, hands dripping blood, and a girl, head twisted, eyes white, clutching a doll. They floated closer, their whispers now screaming, "Winchester, you're ours!" The girl's doll moved, its head turning to stare at me. Blood oozed from its eyes. Mia sobbed, clawing at the door. Jake kicked it and it burst open. We ran, the floor buckling under us. Footsteps thundered behind, mixed with laughter, deep, childlike, unhinged. Doors slammed as we stumbled through the maze of halls. The air burned cold, the blood smell gagging us. In a kitchen, cabinets rattled, dishes crashed. A silver locket sat on the counter, marked SW. It flew at me, hitting my chest. I screamed, shoving it away. The air froze, my breath fogged. Jake pulled me to a side door. We spilled into the garden, gasping. Let alone to say our picnic was destroyed, blanket ripped, food scattered, cooler smashed. The speaker was gone. We ran to the car. As we sped off, I looked back. In a window, the woman, man, and girl stood, their faces pressed to the glass, mouths moving, chanting my name. I looked up the house later. An old article said, Sarah Winchester, or built it for the spirits of people killed by Winchester guns. Some saw a locket tied to her lost daughter. Nobody mentioned a man or girl. We're all genuinely shaken. Mia won't speak. Tom hears his name in the dark. Lena sees the woman in every reflection. I can't sleep. Every sound is footsteps. Yesterday I found scratches on my arm, deep and fresh. So something followed us from that house. I don't know if should I follow back.